In the last episode, we left off with Maya Lawson, a woman who had just been utterly dismissed by a senior sales manager named George. He saw her simple clothes, her quiet demeanor, and assumed she was just another time waster, someone with no real intention of buying. But now, she's standing in front of a brand new, gleaming $380,000 luxury car, and she's just told him she wants to buy it. Not next week, not next week, not next month. Today, and George, bless his arrogant heart, is about to let out a laugh. A laugh that will echo through corporate history. A laugh that will cost his company over $2 billion. This is the story of what happened next. And trust me, it's a moment that will shock everyone. Maya looked George straight in the eye and calmly said, "I'll be paying in full today." George smirked. To him, paying in full meant she was probably hoping for a generous financing plan. Maybe one her credit score couldn't even support. He was already rehearsing his polite but firm rejection. But then Maya reached into her simple handbag and placed something on his polished wooden desk. It was a card, but not just any card. It was matte black, heavy and sleek. There were no numbers on the front, no familiar bank logos, just a name embossed in silver. It was the American Express Centurion card, the legendary black card, available by invitation only to the world's wealthiest individuals. George stared at it for a moment. He picked it up, felt its weight. The gears in his head were turning, but they were grinding in the wrong direction. He couldn't connect the woman in front of him with this symbol of unimaginable wealth. His brain defaulted to the only explanation it could process. It had to be a fake. And then he laughed. It wasn't a chuckle. It was a loud, condescending, public laugh that turned heads across the entire showroom. "Oh, that's a good one," he bellowed, holding the card up for his colleagues to see. "You know, you can buy these knockoffs on Amazon for $30, right?" He paraded it around, showing it to the other salespeople, a few of whom chuckled along nervously. He turned back to Maya, his face now a mask of smug authority. "Ma'am, I don't appreciate scammers in my showroom. I think it's time for you to leave before I have to call security." He tossed the card back onto the desk. The air grew thick with tension. Maya didn't flinch. She didn't raise her voice. She simply looked at him and asked one quiet, chilling question. "So, to be clear, you are officially refusing to process my payment?" George just scoffed, crossing his arms. He was waiting for her to make a scene, to yell, to confirm his every prejudice about her. But she didn't. Instead, Maya calmly picked up her phone. She didn't text. She didn't scroll. She made a call. The entire showroom, now captivated by the drama, fell silent. "You could hear a pin drop, Cassandra," Maya said into the phone, her voice steady and clear. "Cancel the partnership." A beat of silence. "Yes, the whole thing. Terminate the $2 billion fleet contract immediately. Notify the legal department and have them prepare the press statement for release tomorrow morning." George's smug expression started to falter. He still thought it was a bluff, an elaborate, desperate act. Who was this Cassandra? What partnership? But then Maya started listing the details into the phone, and the color drained from George's face. "The initial order is for 340 vehicles, she said, "for our executive fleet expansion across 14 countries. Total value $2.1 billion. The numbers hung in the air, each one a hammer blow to George's reality. The other salespeople were frozen, their nervous smiles gone, replaced by looks of dawning horror. They were no longer watching a scammer get put in her place. They were watching a corporate catastrophe unfold in real time, and George was standing at the epicenter. He had just laughed away a deal that could have secured their company's future for the next decade. As Maya finished her call with a calm, "Thank you, Cassandra," George's hands were shaking. He fumbled for his own phone, his mind racing. Who was this woman? He quickly typed her name, Maya Lawson, into a search engine. The results loaded, and the phone slipped from his trembling fingers, clattering onto the floor. The screen lit up with his worst nightmare, Maya Lawson, CEO and founder of Omnitech, one of the fastest-growing technology conglomerates in the world. Forbes 40 under 40 tech billionaire, philanthropist. The pictures showed her on stage at global conferences, shaking hands with world leaders, on the cover of magazines. The woman he had just publicly humiliated, accused of being a cheap scammer, and threatened to throw out, was the very person whose signature was on that $2 billion contract. The woman whose decision could make or break his entire company. The silence in the room was now deafening, filled only with the sound of George's career crashing and burning around him. Within minutes, the showroom was a hive of frantic activity. Suits started appearing. First, the dealership's general manager, then executives from corporate headquarters. The regional director arrived, breathless and pale, his own phone ringing off the hook with panicked calls from the board. But it was too late. The damage was done. The executives swarmed around Maya, offering frantic apologies, begging, pleading for another chance. They offered to fire George on the spot. They offered her the car for free. They offered anything and everything. But Maya just stood there, poised and unshakable. She didn't yell. She didn't need to. She looked past the panicked executives and met George's terrified gaze. "This wasn't a mistake," she said, her voice cutting through the chaos. "A mistake is an accident. This was a choice. You didn't just misjudge a customer. You revealed your character. and my company does not partner with people or companies that have this kind of character." She turned to the regional director. "The deal is dead. My legal team will be in touch." And with that, she turned and walked out of the showroom, leaving behind a scene of absolute corporate devastation. That day, a career that took decades to build was ended in a single moment of arrogance. A multi-billion-dollar company lost a generation-defining contract because one man couldn't see past his own prejudice, and the world was reminded of a timeless, powerful lesson. Never, ever judge a person's power by their appearance. The quietest person in the room might just be the most powerful one. Assumptions are expensive, but for George, they were catastrophic. If this story made you think, and if you want to hear more stories that challenge our perspectives, make sure to subscribe. We share new lessons and new stories every single day. Thanks for watching.